let's talk about how do you succeed in living that dream. Because I think this is something that's so gravely misunderstood. We've got seminar after seminar out there in the universe. Tony Robbins, Mark Victor Hansen, Jim Rohn when he's alive, Earl Nightingale, Jack Canfield, Deepak Chopra. Everybody's talking about how do you succeed? Let me tell you something. It's not a matter of how you succeed, because you're already succeeding. Everything in your life is a success story, because everything in your life you've created. Take a deep breath. You see, success is something that is the natural outpicturing of what we call the law, that aspect of God which is always creating and recreating itself. And that success that we are, or that God is, that we are, that I am, that you are, is always taking the sum total of our thoughts, and it is successfully birthing it into an experience. And the experience of that success is right where you are now today. So success is not something we have to reach for. Success is guaranteed. There is no doubt that we will succeed. The question we might want to ask is, where do we want to put our power to succeed? Where are we putting it? And we don't have to go back and analyze why we're where we're at. Why, in this case, is an absolutely useless question. The question is, what do I want now? You see, I'm not ignoring the facts. I'm accepting the facts that right where we are right now is where we are. That the past brought me, brought you, brought us to this point in life. I accept that, and from that, I'm able to go forth and say, what next? And I am guaranteed success there. So I want to talk to you about this idea of what is the greatest way to have success. And I'm going to tell you it's twofold. And twofold is very simply, this is the keys in my mind to creating success. Establishing a consistent relationship with God, and then maintain a persistent pattern of thought in the direction of what we choose. That's all you have to know about life. There is nothing more. Every Sunday you come here, you're going to get this message in one form or fashion. And this message hinges on one truth. God is all there is. If God is all there is, then there's an infinite power and presence everywhere present that is constantly expressing itself, creating from itself, as itself, through itself, to experience itself. And as this power and presence does that, it has individualized itself as you and I. There's this ever-expanding flow of consciousness that radiates through, in, and as everything. Consciousness is everywhere, in this dimension and all dimensions. And we are a point within that consciousness, within that flow, that when we focus our light into that consciousness, it says yes. And it creates experience for us. So what we do is, that first step is we tap into the divine. So what is the best tool that I know of to do it? And I'm just going to say it's affirmative prayer. Because in affirmative prayer, there is the meditation aspect of it. Because when you go through the idea of affirmative prayer as we teach it at Agape, as we teach it in the Science of Mind, it is the first step is that there's one power and presence. It is infinite, all-knowing. And when we go into meditation, we are going into that. We're surrendering ourselves into this power that is us. It's not outside of us. It's already in us. So we're releasing our mind. We're releasing everything and surrendering into that which we truly are. We're letting go of the ego mask. We're letting go of the personality that we've chosen to express. We're just allowing ourselves to be the perfection of the one. And then in step 2 of prayer, where we go into unification, we realize that there is the oneness. We feel it. And now we claim it as our own by saying that I am one with it. Not only am I one with it, but everyone is one with it. You see, you can't get through steps 1 and 2 of spiritual mind treatment, affirmative prayer. You can't get through it without recognizing that God is all there is, and then knowing from this premise that I am one with it. But you see, you can't stop there. Because if you don't believe that your neighbor is one with it, then you've not done step 1. Are you hearing that? You got to have all of it together to have the power. And the power is the recognition that is within you, that God is all there is, I am one with it, all is one with it. And when you're in that state, nothing can stop you. You've got all the mojo. You've got all the juice. You need no more rocket fuel to get wherever you want to go. It's all loaded. It's waiting now for you to take your steering wheel and take your rocket ship wherever you want to go. And where do you take your rocket ship? By maintaining a persistent pattern of thought in the direction of what you choose. Now, that persistent pattern of thought in the idea of affirmative prayer is when you declare into the law that I know perfect health in my body. I know that every cell of my body is God in expression. I know there is harmony within every cell of my body. I know that my body is forever young, constantly rejuvenating itself. My body knows how to infinitely rejuvenate the trillions of cells within it in a healthy, vital, virile fashion, and that they harmoniously interact with themselves, creating this youthful, dynamic, ageless expression of the One. You see, there is no reason we have to age. But there is a belief in mankind, in womankind, in humankind, that the physical body automatically must deteriorate each and every day. But that is not the truth. In God, there's only now. There is only now in God. That means there's only now in you. There is no past, there is no future. The past has been what has brought us to a point of deciding what we want in the now. The future is simply there based on what we decide now. So we can't worry about it. We've got to be in the now. So now I would say, if you're looking at health, focus on a perfect, healthy body now. And it's simple. You just focus that you're breathing. Breathing is the most natural aspect of humanness that takes us to life. And if we get in and we embody this idea of breathing and we focus on it, we direct our persistent pattern of thought that I have perfect breath. And with every breath I take, I'm aware of my oneness with God. With every breath I take, I'm aware of the oneness of God within my body. With every breath I take, I'm aware of the oneness of everything surrounded me. With every breath I take, I realize that there's harmony in the world. With every breath I take, I realize that I am not separate, but I am one with the creative intelligence that creates all things, and I am that power. So you see, I've taken you through the prayer aspect of 1, God is all there is. 2, I am one with it and so is everyone else. 3, I am persistently directing the pattern of my thought. Think about Jesus. What did he say? When asked, how often do I pray? He says, pray unceasingly, knowing that the Father and I are one. Loving God above all else. Loving thy neighbor as thyself. Jesus was saying, establish a relationship with God and then maintain a persistent pattern of thought in the direction of what you choose. It is done unto you as you believe. I have taken the whole Bible, the whole Quran. I have taken the Bhagavad Gita, I have taken the Vedas, and I have set it there. The question is, it's very simple. Yes, Uwe just said, it's the Reader's Digest version. Now, you can choose to take out the Winds of War. If you ever read the book, The Winds of War, it's about this thick with really small print. And you can go through your life through the Winds of War strategy, and you're going to have one hell of a ride. Or you can streamline your life and decide, I think I'm going to spend my life creating more joy than I've even imagined to this day. I think I'm going to create more abundance than I've ever come to understand. I think I'm going to be a healing presence in the world, that I become a model example so that everyone can see that this power, this possibility, and even greater than that, not just this possibility, but this probability. Because it's not just possible, it's probable. In fact, it's definite. You are assured of success if you establish God as all there is. I am one with it, and maintain a persistent pattern of thought in the direction of what you choose. That means eliminating anything that is not in alignment with the persistent pattern of thought that you're choosing. You must eliminate it. I was on a chat thing on the internet. You know how you get on these chat things and you get messages all the time? And I would read it every day. And in it there were messages of this and that and controversy, and I never felt good reading it. And I thought I needed to read it in order to be up to date, to be current with what's happening out there. I unsubscribed on Monday. My email volume went down by half. I've been more at peace than I've been in years. Because while I thought I'd eliminated all this monkey chatter that was taking me away from my sense of oneness, I thought that this was a necessity to being a successful minister. And I realized it was distracting me. And so I said, it doesn't fit in with the persistent pattern of my thought. No longer. Life changed. That's how easy it is. Unsubscribe to that in your life which is not serving where you desire to be. Unsubscribe. All you got to do is press a button. So when that thought comes into your mind about the past, you go, unsubscribed. If you've got a boyfriend and he says something you don't like, unsubscribe. If you got a girlfriend and they're going on and on and on, unsubscribe. Now, if you happen to be in a life partnership, you may just do the simple thing by not looking them in the eyes and saying, I'm unsubscribing you. You just close your ears while they do this. You hearing me? Sometimes, the chatter goes on, or you could say, tell me, here's the thing that I've learned this week. It's not that I've learned it, but I've enhanced it. Is ask an empowering question instead of listening to garbage. When someone is going and birthing out all of this stuff, instead of it, say, can we stop for a second? Can you tell me, based on the experience you've just had here, without telling me the details, where do you want to be now? Where have you gotten the clarity? How do you desire to want to express and to experience your life? What would you like to see created into your life? Do you notice how that empowering question was taking them more to the line of a direct connection to oneness? It was taking them into a line of the direction of where they can establish a permanent pattern of thought. So if you have a partner or someone in your life that is ill, we don't deny that they're ill. We accept that they're ill. And we can ask them, how would it feel to be healthy? What would that look like for you? What would that feel like for you? Describe it for me. Tell me more about what that is. See what I'm doing? Tell me more. Ask them what they want, what they get, and then tell me more. Because what you're doing is you're being the guide to them being the artist, to first putting their first stroke on the canvas of life, to then now, with the next question, tell me more, they're filling in the picture. Different colors, different events, different things are coming in. And so you're allowing them through this beautiful, loving, supporting relationship that you're creating with them, because you are really in that moment, by asking an empowering question, are you not being pure love? Are you not in a state of judgment? You see, to be in love, you cannot judge. You can't think someone's right or wrong. But you can ask them, what is your highest vision? What is your highest dream? What is that you choose to experience? What I understand is when we do effective prayer, we align with God. And now we must have all of our words, all of our thoughts, and all of our actions into alignment with that which we choose. That's a pretty tall order. Because I thought about that. And I thought about, well, how do I cure this pattern baldness going on back here in the back of my head? And someone, probably related to Uwe, said to me, well, the Bosley Hair Center will help you. Or if my Uncle Johnny were alive, Johnny had a barber shop in Hamtramck, Michigan, and when you went into his back room, he had the most awful rugs. And all of the Wallach brothers were all bald. There were 5 brothers in my dad's family. And all of them would wear this ungodly toupee. And my mother, when my dad came home, because my father had been drinking, the brothers on the Polish side, they did a lot of drinking. And they were drinking, and one day my father came home, and he had on a Johnny rug. And I'm telling you, it was absolutely scary. My mother said, Steve, come here. And Steve walked over, and she says, bend down. And she bent down, and she ripped it off, took it, opened the door, threw it in the garbage, and she says, if you ever expect to live in this house, you will never come into this house again. See, my mother was clear on what she wanted, and she had a persistent pattern of thought, and my father could not combat that personal pattern of thought. Therefore, there was never a toupee in our house. Now, on my mother-in-law's side, she wore wigs all the time, and they were very beautiful wigs, because I saw my mother-in-law without her hair. And let me tell you, at the age of 10, so did my sons, and it scared the death out of them. So she had a persistent pattern of thought that it made her look better. And it did. Am I right, Gene? Yes, Gene will agree. There is no stories. These are truth. These truths about my mother-in-law and toupees and my father and that, they're up there with one with God. You see, one of the things that I've come to understand is laughter is key to life. See, one of the things that I truly understand is that when you meet someone that's successful, they have an energy or an aura or a feeling that radiates from them. You've all met those people. You've come into contact with people that wherever they are, people are gravitating to them. They feel, they sense, they know that there's an energetic, that these people are focused in. I know for a fact that when I can sense that someone's in a state of oneness, it is an energy that draws me right to them. You want to be in that. You know that when someone is so committed to a dream, so committed that they have a persistent pattern of thought, you want to be around that person. One of the greatest tools that all of the inspirational teachers out there are talking about, find someone who's demonstrating what you desire and model them. So what they're saying is find that person, see what persistent pattern of thought, actions that they've got going on in their lives, and do that for yourself from your own personal twist. Don't do exactly what they're doing because you're not like them. But see the process that they've created in their lives, see how it's demonstrating in their lives, and then incorporate that into yours. But you see, it's not just the process of the persistent pattern of thought. You've got to first come back to the oneness with God. Because if you don't have the oneness with God, you can think those patterns of thought, and someday you're going to say, oh, damn, this don't work. Because there's no power in just thinking. There has to be the belief. Remember, Jesus said, it is done unto you as you believe. And if you believe your oneness with God, if you believe that God is all there is, if you believe there's nothing but God to tap into, there is nothing that can possibly hold you back. If you believe that, then you know that the thought that you've been thinking, the words that you've been speaking, the actions that you've been doing are done. And we go into the 4th and 5th step of our prayer, and that's where we give thanks. We give thanks not for that prayer being answered in the future. We give thanks for health now. We give thanks for wealth now. We give thanks for joy now. We give thanks for harmony now. We give thanks for clarity now. It must be now. Because God can't create in the future, because God only exists in the now. So the creative process is always now. Our experience of it may be in a now 4 breaths away. Because remember, as we're claiming this prayer, we're building a belief, and it's done unto us as we believe. So if we're shifting a belief, the belief may take time to build. And as the belief comes to fruition, the physical demonstration is there, but the spiritual demonstration is already there, and we claim it now. Does that make sense to you? Because that really took time for me to grasp. I didn't grasp this now stuff because it's not happening till here, but I realized I've got to create that mental image, that blueprint, that mold right now so that the spiritual energy, the God energy, goes into that mold and God puts the press on it. It comes forth and it's waiting there until our belief is 100% or 51%. It starts to bring that mold into experience. It's almost like it's towing the sailboat into our life. Success, it's your destiny. It's your birthright. And I want to compliment everyone in here because you have never failed. Think about that. You have never failed. You have always been a success. You've proven that this process works. Now that you're even more aware of the process, go forth and create that which you love. Because that's why you're here.